Just wrapped up my third week of training for Ironman Florida. It is coming up in 76 days as I record this. Today was race day, probably my final race before Ironman Florida. I did an Olympic distance triathlon down in Key Largo, and things went very well. It was a challenging environment to do a triathlon in, with the heat index at 99 degrees by the end of the day. It was hot and humid throughout the whole race, and I did it on the back of 20 consecutive days of training. Over these last 3 weeks, I haven't had any kind of break from training, and I carried a bit of fatigue into the race, which was to be expected. I really wasn't feeling all that spry and fresh, especially on the run leg in the heat. But overall, the race went really well. I'm pleased with how I did. It's a pretty big improvement over the last time that I did a proper Olympic distance race, which was last July, in July of 2021. I managed to shave almost 7 minutes off my time from that race, despite that race having actually a shortened run. So that had a 7/10 mile shorter run, and I managed to do today's race, even with the heat and the fatigue I was carrying, about 7 minutes faster. So pretty pleased with that. The swim went well. I swam pretty straight. The bike did pretty well, broke 20 miles per hour on the bike, which I was looking to do. And then the run, it was hard to set targets for because I knew it was going to be so hot and humid. But I battled, and I didn't necessarily get tired or anything. I'm pretty well trained at this point, and I can maintain my form under fatigue, so I can just keep banging out those miles without too much difficulty. And I did that today, and I was pleased with how things went generally. I finished 28th out of 95 overall. That's good enough for the top 30% of the race. And it was a good race, and wrapped up another solid week of training. This week I didn't spend that much time on the bike. I think I only clocked about 3 hours and 17 minutes counting today's race. That was kind of because of the race today. I also had a really long ride at the end of last week. The bike took a little bit of a backseat this week, but I swam close to 12,000 meters, and I ran, I think, 27 miles, which is probably the most I've run in almost 2 years since I was training for a marathon. And, so it feels pretty good, pretty strong. I'm going to be back at it on the bike again a lot in this upcoming week. Things generally are going well. Physically, I feel great. My attitude is great, and my motivation to train is high, and I'm seeing a lot of improvements. So I'm gonna clock another really 9 solid weeks of training here before I start to look to taper in advance of Ironman Florida, and I look forward to seeing the kind of adaptations I can make with another 9 strong weeks of training, and that'll begin again on Monday with a nice recovery ride, and then go from there. I keep having some difficulties with pools, so I have to travel around a bit to find the pool. I did that a few times over the last week. I did a few runs. I ran on the treadmill a lot, unfortunately. On Tuesday, I tried to do an outdoor run, but if you've ever been to South Florida, it was a monsoon rainstorm that I actually ran about 3.5 miles in a monsoon with the lightning off in the distance, and then the rain just got too crazy, and I couldn't keep running. But the plan that day called for an 80-minute run, and I was only about 36 minutes into the run, so I stopped at the gym on the way home, and hit the treadmill, and I ran another 46 minutes on the treadmill. Did another treadmill workout on Thursday because I ran some hills, and we don't have many hills down here in South Florida. And then Saturday I took it a little easy. I had an early morning swim, but I wanted to stay off my feet and try to be as fresh as I could for the race, and I achieved that goal. Another thing I was really working on during the race was fueling. Obviously, the longer a race gets, the more important fueling is. So come Ironman, the fueling strategy is going to be really important. This being my last race. Before that was my last opportunity to really test the fueling in a race situation. Obviously much shorter than an Ironman, but still can test out what the strategy is, see what the impact on the GI system is, right? See if it causes any problems, and everything went pretty well. I've been eating about 2 dates every 20 minutes on the bike. And then for longer rides, I'll supplement that with something like an RX bar, probably something a little bit more solid with a little bit of protein in it. Just to keep myself full, anticipating a 11-12 hour day on Ironman day. So on the race today, I fueled with dates, felt great the whole time, and then on the run I messed around a little bit with some honey. Still not exactly sure how I'm going to fuel the Ironman run, but I'm working on that plan every week, and I'm going to come up with something good come race day, that's for sure. And another focus today really was on hydration and electrolyte replacement. So I added electrolytes to all my water. Tried to focus on putting down 2 bottles of water on the bike, and then carrying a bottle of water on my running belt with electrolytes in it. And I found that was a big benefit. So that's something I'm going to look to continue to experiment with, and it seems to make a big difference. But 3 weeks into training for this, and I'm feeling great, feeling strong. No real physical ailments or anything like that to report, which is awesome. And I'm looking forward to putting up another big week of training coming up. And I feel really proud of my effort today, and it felt great to cross another finish line. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. And thanks for watching, and I'll be back again next week to report another update.